Welcome, welcome, welcome to Science of Mind 102. For those of you watching on the World Wide Web, this is class 5. And for those of us in the classroom, we are doing the reading for class 11. Same thing, just different counting. And we always begin in treatment, so take a deep breath. Let it out. And breathe in again. And as you continue breathing, we move from the physical to the conscious. And we move into that state of awareness where we know that there is something amazing and wonderful going on. It is a power and a presence of love and light. It is life itself. It is creative. It is movement. It is the absolute coming forth into form. And whatever it is, that is what we are. Because there is only one. It's one power, one presence, one love, one light, one life, one infinite, absolute, creative force. We are created out of the infinite substance of spirit. We are created out of the presence of God itself. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual law. And we come together this evening to open our awareness to the power that is within us, to the ability that we have to use spiritual law and manifest the life of our dreams. We come together this evening to embrace to a greater level this idea that we can speak our word and have form change. And with great gratitude and thanksgiving for all of the joy that we get to have in creating our lives, for all of the people that join together with us in this journey of Science of Mind 102, we simply release this treatment into all that God is, knowing that God is in it all. As together we say, and so it is. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Welcome, welcome. My recorder didn't go last week, so I'm a little paranoid. So, treatments. Amanda, do you have a treatment celebration?
Yes, Helen was treating that I asked for help at work, looking for volunteers and a couple of part-time positions. And actually, by the time I got out to my car, there was a message that I saw when I got home, and the girl came out, and she was fabulous. She came out 3 days, and I got her on the calendar, and then another girl that had come out, she came and worked her first couple of days. She was great. She can drive the tractor, and she messaged me today because there was still a couple Saturdays a month that we needed, and a friend of hers at work wants to come out and take care
Yay!
of me.
Yay! There you go, Hella. Who else? Treatment celebrations. Karen and then Hella.
I think I have one that you know about. My husband had a massive heart attack on December the 17th, and the doctor gave him a 4% chance to come off the table. And I let Barbara and John and a few people of my CSL friends from Fort Worth and different places know what was going on. I felt very comfortable the whole time he was on the table. He came out fine. He was in Mission Hospital for 22 days. He's now in rehab. They weren't expecting him to even live 5 days after he had the surgery. So all of the treatments and prayers that anybody that I knew sent up definitely have worked. And if all goes well, he maybe will be able to come out of rehab in about 2 more weeks.
Yay! Wonderful. Hella.
Well, Amanda treated me last week for a lot of things just not working right since I've moved here. It's like everything is just ground to a halt, and we've been trying to sell the house, still have some soap, but we've also been trying to sell the truck, and Arizona DOT has just been messing with us about the title, and it was just going on and on. It was driving us nuts. And then she treated for that last week, and by the time I came home, my partner said, "Oh, we just found out that we can da-da-da-da-da-da." So this weekend, we bought a camera, we sold the truck, done.
Yay! There you go, Amanda. Who else? Ophia.
So I had a couple that I had actually forgotten last time was over the holidays. I had been trying to help my mom with not going kind of crazy like she does. And when she started to, I just reminded her, when she was getting panicked, I just reminded her what the point of it was. Like, ask yourself, why are we here? Because she's always like, we need to make memories, and so the energy of the whole holiday shifted with that. So
Yeah.
so that was really cool. She just stayed, it was awesome. So and I have an issue with assigned reading. Like, it's just all through college. I've never, several classes I would get. Sorry?
You said that last week, I ignored you.
Yeah, thanks. I have several textbooks I've never even cracked open, and I still got an A in class. Like, it's just something about it. But so I just accepted it was okay if I wasn't gonna get it finished, and then I'm just gonna start with this class or anything. Anyway, so I treated for it, and somehow I did not finish the questions, but I did all of the reading today before class.
Yay! Yay! You don't have a problem with anything. Who else? Treatment celebrations from last week. Ophia. You're
I
a fountain
forgot
of them.
my handwritten one. I forgot. This was actually from a couple weeks ago too, but I found it again, and I know that you all would really. So I was listening to the classes that I had missed from here, and it was one you were talking about Pigpen, like, and what you're right. I remember, yeah, and you're focusing on the, what are you focusing on? Whatever you're kind of manifesting, and I've been thinking of how I've been working on this kind of cool mixed media project related to this stuff. And one of the notes I had kind of written to myself was like, magic eye feel. Like, that's kind of what it is, like spirit creating reality is almost like a magic eye where you have to kind of unfocus into it. And I was thinking, focus. How do you create focus? And my mom used to always call me the absent-minded professor. I'm always zoning out. I'm always thinking about weird stuff. And I was like, okay, remember, focus. And I literally focused my eyes, and the word focus was in bold in front of me on a bottle of focus factor medicine or something. like right there. And I didn't see it, so I just focused.
I love to get those little serendipity confirmations.
Yeah, crosswords and stuff.
Yeah. Who else? Treatment celebrations. Okay, remember, every one of you has something, so pay attention to them, remember them. You don't have to share them, but you've got them. You're going to want to tuck them away inside of you, make a little journal, or just tuck them away in your head so that you have them. Because you are demonstrating your life, whether you're doing spiritual mind treatment or just waking up in the morning. Every thought is a prayer, every moment is a creation, and the more that you can acknowledge how you are powerfully at the point of creation in your life, the more you can go back to that when things get a little disconcerting and you have some emotions come up. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It seems so powerful out there. No, you are the point of power in your life, and you are the one creating your experience. Tiana.
Yeah. So I did do a treatment for like money showing up, in places and stuff like that, and then I did like this meditation. So anyway, basically, as soon as it ended, like I found a $50 bill and a pair of pants.
Yes.
But I lost it. Nice. So what does that mean?
I know there's nothing lost in the divine mind, including Tiana's $50 bill. I know that it's here. I claim it, I call it forth, I accept it, I give thanks for it, and so it is.
So it is. Cool. Thanks.
There's nothing lost. It's your money. Ophia.
I feel like maybe it had an effect on me because I found over $200 cash.
Yay! Good job. Good work, people. So your reading last week was on spiritual perfection. We talked about different kinds of treatments. We talked about this whole idea that the beginning of healing, and that's what this chapter, these two chapters are about, is really embracing and believing this idea that we are spiritual beings in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law, and that when we think about something, we impress that thought on spiritual law and something happens to it. Whether or not we're thinking about something that is a good idea for us or a bad idea for us, we are still impressing that onto spiritual law, and the only thing that the law can do is to create that. There is no incurable disease as long as there's a breath in the body. then you can have that return to health and wholeness. It's not even a healing. I don't like to use the word healing, but it's being used. It's a return to the natural state of health and wholeness. We talked about this is not willpower. You're not having to go into Tim and recreate his heart. You're simply knowing that that original healthy and whole heart is there now, no matter what has happened or is happening now. And that this idea of perfect God, perfect man, perfect being, that if God is all that there is, if Spirit is all that there is, if there is one unified whole, and everything is a part of that, then whatever is true of the whole must be true of the part. And so perfect Spirit must also include perfect us. Perfect God, perfect man, gender-biased terms. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. So that if perfect, healthy, whole Spirit is all that there is, then we have in ourselves that energy and essence of spiritual perfection. Whether it's manifesting as our physical form or not, that never goes away. And I think that's when I brought up the pigpen thing. That's our mental atmosphere. And so if we are going through life with a sense of health and wholeness and joy and prosperity and love, then that's what we bring with us. And if we're going through our life with stinking thinking and criticism and helplessness and hopelessness, then that's what we're bringing. So what we want to do is we want to get back to this idea that says there is a perfection within each of us. We don't have to get it, we can't lose it, that it is the truth of who we are, and that simply by focusing on that and being aware of that, the outer, excuse me, the outer has to manifest in physical form from that awareness. And so when someone comes up to you and you do a spiritual mind treatment for them, and before they get out to the car, they've got a text that help is showing up, or that $50 is in a pant pocket, or that the doctor's 4% hot, you know, Tim is fine. Yep. That whatever that is, that you've got this knowing that there is, that superseding and transcending the physical form is a spiritual reality. And that is perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect happiness, perfect love, perfect joy. It is our nature. We can't lose it. We can't get any more of it. This is it. We've got it all. We can't be good enough to, or be better, be more holy or more spiritual, so we're going to be able to heal better. No. This is it. We've got it all right here and right now. And the point is to begin focusing on that which is the spiritual truth of someone or the experience, and not even get into treating the actual event. I like what Ernest says in these chapters. He says, you don't even treat the organ. Don't treat the organ, treat the being. The being is perfect, pure spirit, whole and complete right here and right now. The organs have to come in alignment with that perfect idea. And the organs do. Remember when he came up with all of this, the whole mental healing movement, they didn't have antibiotics. They had tuberculosis epidemics around the world, the country. If you got cut, chances were high that it wasn't going to go well for you. And the medical practices were pretty barbaric back then. So prayer, you know, doctors say I'm going to die, let's pull out all the prayer stops and see what other option we have. And so the other option is to turn away from the condition, to let go of the idea that says you're sick, this is illness, this is disease, this is wrong, this is bad, and to focus on a higher truth, a higher reality, which is perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. We are all part of the perfection, the health, the wholeness of all of life. That is who we are. It's in us. It can't be taken away. They can cut out parts of our body and they can't take that away. That is the truth of us. And when we can see it clearly, when we can know it, when we can really get it, then it shows up. And so this movement went through a period of time of pulling away from physical healings. And we were always out there with physical healings. A lot of centers were, well, we don't really do that anymore. And I was like, why? Why in the world would you not do that? So we've always been on the forefront of growing new kidneys and healing people's bodies, changing diagnoses, changing conditions, and all of that, and really being upfront with all of that, that if this works, it works on everything. It doesn't just work on money or a new car. You know, it doesn't just work on attracting a partner into your life. It works on diagnosable, certified physical experiences. The same way that you can pull money out of thin air, you can create a physical healing in your body, no matter what the odds are that the doctors give you. We have someone in here who also had a 4% chance of survival from cancer. That's 10 years ago. We have someone in the center who was told she wouldn't live 6 months unless she had surgery. That was close to 10 years ago. You know, so there's a different reality going on here. Physical form comes in and out. And not only, you know, does the quantum explanation of it, physical form blinks in and out, whether it's a particle or a wave, and in nanoseconds we're recreating our experience. But if you just look at the biology of it, every time you get cut, you heal. Every time a bone breaks, whether it's set or not, it will mend. No matter what happens to you, your body has an innate sense of healing to bring you forward back into the health and wholeness that is your divine birthright, that is your true nature. And so, when we can start to look beyond the appearance and see the truth, look beyond the condition, and it's tricky because if somebody's got a condition waving in your face that says, whatever, I'm not even gonna say those things, then that's when you wanna have your little bag of tricks that says, wait a minute, Ophia treated for Tiana, and Tiana found $50 in her pocket. And Ophia found $200. There's something going on that when we focus on something inside of ourselves, the outside reflects that change. And so if that can happen with money, it can happen with my body, it can happen with my car. If I am on a dark road at night and it looks like I'm running out of gas, I can have more gas to get to the gas station. I can have an effect on my life because I am cause to my life. Does that make sense? Do you have any other comments or questions about your reading? Ophia?
Well, related to what you just said and the physical healing, while I was cleaning out more of this junk that I just keep going through anytime I have free time, I actually found the gold medal from the time the doctors told me I might walk again when I was 10.
Wow.
When I came back in the same season.
Wow. We don't live in the world of might. We live in the world of mighty. Good. Any other questions or comments?
I have to say that one of the things that I thought was really odd was that I knew everything was gonna be okay, but the doctor was the one that was in such a morbid state that in my head I kept saying, just please let him be okay when he gets in there to do the surgery. Because to me, he was so down and out over the situation that, and the negativity, I almost didn't want him to operate on my husband, to be honest with you.
But your consciousness transcends.
Yes, I kept saying.
And truly, it's
everything's
Tim's
fine.
choice.
Yes, definitely. But still, the way that he came to me in such a morbid
That's their job.
way was just like, okay, are you really sure you can pull this off or not? You know, it was kind of weird, because I was more positive way more than he was, by a long shot.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
it was good.
So we're going to do a little playing tonight. How many of you have heard of Louise Hay? Louise Hay is a religious science minister, a science of mind minister, a science of mind practitioner, and she got pretty much all of her stuff from Ernest Holmes. So, yes, she did. So in the chapter of Physical Perfection Concluded, he's got all kinds of conditions and causes. And in your homework this week, you're going to have a couple of pages of marking what causes what condition. Now, I've always been a little poo-pooing about Louise Hay, and really back problems are burden, foot problems are lack of understanding. That only works in English. all of these things. But there is a little bit of truth to this in that if you're gonna be filled with anger and resentment and constriction, it's going to affect your physical body. You're gonna clench in. You're gonna constrict your intestines, your stomach, your blood vessels. You're gonna hold on to things. When you release adrenaline in your body, it poisons your physical body, it blows out your adrenal systems. That's just regular biology stuff. So we're just gonna play with this. Don't get all freaked out that this is the God's honest truth. If I have a kidney issue, that means this and that and this and that, because it's written down in the book. But what I want you to do is I want you to, this coming week, play with these ideas and think about what that might mean for you. And you don't have to answer every single one of these. There's a bunch of them. But think about, well, I remember when I did feel overwhelmed. John had been gone for 6 years. I felt like a lot of pressure was on me. There was a certain amount of resentment to all of that, plastered behind the smile of the good wife, you know. But I was really ready for him to come home. I was ready to lay down the total responsibility of running this center. And my blood pressure went up. I'm not surprised my blood pressure went up. And John came home, and my blood pressure went down. You know? So wouldn't it be great if John wasn't part of the equation? But since he was, I could look at that, and if my blood pressure starts to go up again, I can look at, well, where do you feel overwhelmed? Where do you feel like you're being pushed to your limits? Where are you not having fun in your life? And how can you change that so that your body comes back into alignment with the health and wholeness that you are? So as someone who's treating for somebody, if someone comes up to you and says, please treat me for this, it's okay for you to say, well, how are you doing with such and such? I just was diagnosed with coronary heart disease. My arteries are hardening. Okay, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you that your heart chakra is closing down? That everything is getting rigid and tense? It's okay to talk about those things and say, well, how loved do you feel in your life right now? How good are you at giving love in your life right now? How can you do that better? And, you know, Louise Hay's blanket all affirmation, no matter what it was I love myself the way I am. I love and accept myself just the way I am. And she was giving that to young boys who were diagnosed with AIDS. They had been thrown out of their families' houses. They were living on the streets. They were, you know, shooting up drugs and prostituting themselves out. I love myself just the way I am. I love and accept myself just the way that I am. And these kids got better. I remember when I was in Miami, I was the minister of the Miami church, and we had the first diagnosed reversal of AIDS. Something that they said was impossible, that you can't reverse AIDS. Well, gosh, turns out you can. You can. You can completely reverse it to where it's no longer detectable in the body. It's gone. And you do that by changing the way you see yourself, and by being able to be that person with someone that can see them so clearly. They can see that perfect being of light and love, and that's got to incorporate in every organ, every muscle, every tissue, every bone, and every system in that body. That is God's body, and as such it is healthy, whole, complete, right here and right now, and that is the only thing that can happen. Because once you impress thought upon the spiritual law of the universe, the only thing that can happen is it manifests in form. So, let's turn to page 38. The first one is easy.
Is this in the notebook? Or
In the notebook, What do you think is the mental cause of a headache? Anger, tension, either you call them tension headaches, and they probably should have an anger headache.
Stress.
Stress headache,
Worry.
38, the worried headache, the anxious headache. So if you know, what? No, there's a 38 and a 39, we're on 38 in the notebook.
This is my 38.
This is 38.
We wouldn't
Okay,
mind.
I guess it's 39 for you guys. It says condition and then beliefs and thoughts.
Yeah, that's page 39.
Now, remember when we had cause and effect up here, and we had the condition, and we had the thought and the belief that caused the condition, and then what we were gonna turn it into afterwards. That's what all of this is about. So you start off with a headache. You know you've worked yourself up into being tense. You've worked yourself up into being upset. You clenched down. You probably have your jaw clamping down, stressing out your neck. So if that's what's causing the headache, then what can you do to have it change? Relax. So what are you gonna treat for?
Yeah, calmness.
Ease, calmness. What else? It's on the next page, which would be 40 for you. So you're gonna treat to be calm. You're not gonna treat that the headache goes away. What happens if you treat that the headache goes away?
That'll go somewhere
You'll
else.
have more headache. We came back from the beach. John started coming down with something probably on the plane on Saturday. Saturday night and Sunday night, I awakened in the middle of the night to have him this far away from my face, sound asleep, coughing, coughing, coughing. I'm like, I'm not getting sick. I don't get sick. I don't believe in germs. I stood up here last Monday and said, germs are not real. Now, I'm talking to myself there. I don't believe in germs. They are not real. And I'm talking to myself going, I'm like the mother in the house with the flu that doesn't get the flu because she doesn't have time to get the flu. I don't have time to get the flu. We've got members coming in, ownership class on Saturday, annual membership meeting, our 24th anniversary, all in the span of like 8 days. I'm not getting sick. I'm not getting sick. What am I treating? I'm not getting sick. Sick, 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 sick. That's exactly what I did. So I still believe that germs are not real. However, a belief in germs is very real. And so when I awaken from a deep slumber and go, God, he's coughing all over me, that belief creates. And evidently, I'm not clear enough about I'm not getting sick to have flipped that over, but I'm working on it.
Is it still the case of, the universe doesn't recognize the negative?
The universe doesn't hear a no. How can the universe hear a no?
So you say you're not getting sick?
All it hears is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what are you focused on? I'm not sick, I'm not sick, I'm not sick, I'm not in pain, I'm not poor, I'm not broke, I'm not unhappy, I'm not miserable. All you're doing is affirming what you don't want.
I think you're up, for me, when I do that, I'm sort of begging, please, I don't wanna be sick, don't
Right.
make me sick. I don't-
Right, I don't have time to be sick.
Right.
Funny, I have all the time that I need. So, this one was easy. Headaches. They come from cinching down in energy. And the way to change them is to open up. Now, you're not gonna treat that the person opens up. You're not gonna treat that they relax their back and their necks. You're not gonna treat that they have a belief in relaxation or ease. You're gonna know that they are at ease. You're gonna know that their life is unfolding perfectly, that all is well, that they are safe, that they are loved, perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. That spirit being all in all as all. Love is all there is. This being is an individualization of the infinite love of the divine. As such, they are love. And in that love, there is a sense of letting go and relaxing. And so the headache goes away. And that could be a migraine that someone's had for years and years and years as migraines. It could be anything. It could just be a tension headache from sleeping long on a pillow. Okay? So play with these things. How about fatigue? Jane, you have your hand up? Give me a little more.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking of something, when I was married, there was a lot of tension and everything, and I got migraines all the time.
I bet you did.
I did, and a terrible thing, my husband, he passed away, and you know, all my headaches went away.
Leon took your headaches with him. Good, 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 good.
Okay.
So what about fatigue?
He's a good guy.
Confusion, unfulfilled desire.
Unfulfilled desire. Okay, what else? Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. Because if somebody came in and said, I just landed the helicopter, I'm here to pick you up. You know, there's some kind of a TV commercial where the friend comes with the whole rodeo to come and get the woman out of the depressing life she's in. And it's a lottery commercial, but it's the same thing. As soon as you've got someone saying, this is fantastic, this is wonderful, I don't care how fatigued you are, you're gonna have plenty of energy to go and do what you wanna do. So if you're feeling fatigued, especially if you're fatigued early, late, and often, consider what it is you're doing that you don't wanna do, and what you're not doing that you wanna do. I always listen when people work here. My office is right by the door to the stairwell. And when people start to come up the stairwell and they pause on like the second step and sigh, I know they are not long for this position. When they get up there and they go, before they come into work, whether they're a volunteer or whether they're paid staff, they're not long for this place because they're not happy coming in. If you're doing what you want to do, you will be filled with energy and excitement and enthusiasm, and it's amazing how the body can just all of a sudden go from being really, really tired, so tired, it's like the teenager, I'm too tired to cut the grass. Well, you know, I just bought you a car. I'm not tired. We're all like that. So when we tell ourselves we're tired, what I like to ask is, what are you doing that you don't want to do? And if you're going to do it, figure out a way to want to do it. Do it or don't do it, that's your choice. But if you're going to do it, want to do it. And what are you not doing that you want to do? And find a way to do it. And what you'll find is you have all kinds of energy.
And if you just look at it a different way, like you get to do it, as opposed to you
Get
have
to do it. I'm constantly on myself. I get to do it, I get to do it, I get to do it. Because really this is what I want to do. And so why do I tell myself I have to do it? Oh, I have to do it. No, you don't. You get to do whatever you want to do, and you don't have to do this at all. There are an infinite number of options you have of doing other things. So what would you treat for this person who's just always tired?
You have boundless energy.
That they find what they love.
That they are loving what they do. They are
Enjoy
living
doing it.
fully. Don't treat them for energy. I mean, they may just go out and start drinking 5-hour energies, and that's, the energy is an effect. We don't treat the effect. We treat the cause.
Then we'll go out joy.
Joy, freedom, life, excitement, fun. Treat that and watch the person start skipping, okay?
I might even treat for love and peace, because sometimes the reason people are tired is because they don't have inner peace.
Right, but you would ask them about that. So if they say, I hate my job,
Right.
you know, you wouldn't go for love or peace. But if they say, my house is crazy, then you might go with love and peace. Don't be afraid to trust your gut and ask them.
Okay.
Sometimes I say to people, I don't know where this is coming from, but what about blah, blah, blah? And they go, how did you know that? Well, there's only one mind, and I was just being intuitive. But you have to trust yourself to be intuitive. So what about lung trouble?
How about insanity?
Okay, how about insanity?
Did you skip that on purpose?
Well, I just wasn't gonna go through all of them.
Oh, okay, I just thought you skipped it.
What is lung trouble?
What is what?
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
Lung trouble.
Insanity is delusion. But what would you treat? The next page has the
To
treatments.
see clearly.
To see clearly.
Or clarity.
Perfect body, being, bronchial tubes, and lungs.
Right, that's for lung trouble, yes. We went back to insanity.
Oh,
That's all right. You were actually spot on for the lung trouble.
okay. One mind, one God.
There's only one mind. It's the mind of God. It's this person's mind now. There's only the clarity of spirit made manifest as this person right here and right now. That's all that there is. And just forget about the other stuff. Don't try to micromanage their diagnoses or crazy talk, just perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. No matter what is going on, this person is perfect, whole, and complete right here and right now. One thing I learned about, is that good for insanity? One thing I learned about lung trouble is that if you were a smoker and you stopped smoking, it doesn't take anywhere near the time that you smoked to have your lungs completely heal.
Yes.
Your lungs heal very quickly. And yet there are people who are dying. And when asked why do you have lung cancer? Well, it's because I smoked for 20 years. Well, when did you stop? Well, I stopped 10 years ago. Then what's going on in your lungs just biologically has nothing to do with the cigarettes that you smoked those years ago. What does it have to do with? Go ahead.
Thinking that you're going to get lung cancer because you smoked.
Thinking that you're gonna get lung cancer because you smoked, even though all of the tar and the nicotine and the damage is long gone out of your lungs. It's the thought that'll kill you.
I hate that commercial that they have now, that's the one where they're trying to tell people because they smoked 35 years ago that they definitely need to be checked and da-da-da-da-da, because to me, when I see that, I quit smoking many years ago, I know my lungs are gonna be fine, and it bothers me almost to see that on television. It's like, what are they putting out to the universe showing that commercial? Because the lady's climbing up all these cigarette butts, it's awful.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, my dog, I turn the channel as soon as it comes on, because I think it's horrible.
Good, good.
Yeah,
Don't give it a lot of energy, turn away from the condition.
absolutely.
Bless your lungs.
That's right.
And if other people wanna buy into that, there's all kinds of things people can buy into as an exit strategy.
Why do we put it out there? We don't even need that out there.
Is that truly a question? Why do you think Big Pharma puts out those
I'm
commercials?
just saying they should.
Well, don't go there. As soon as you pit yourself against it, you've hooked yourself in. And you don't wanna be hooked into that. Other people have their complete right to do whatever they wanna do in this life. You have the right to do it differently. But as soon as you get mad at the commercial, then you're hooked into it, you're a part of it.
Okay, good deal.
Ophia,
What was the belief and thought for lung trouble?
The next page.
the belief and thought for lung trouble, it's in your book, if you wanna look at it, look it up. Let me try to follow my
Poison
mind.
piece, it says.
Unexpressed emotion.
Oh, is that what it is?
Really?
Okay.
Where is it? Wait.
On our page, we got conflict, discouragement, and disappointment.
We don't have-
Longing?
We have
And then the
unexpressed
treatment is
longing.
poison peace.
Did you already do yours?
It doesn't
No,
just,
that's what
it
the-
doesn't
Oh,
just
this
go
is
straight
Oh, no, it's not
across.
the cross. No, you gotta match them up.
You gotta
Yeah.
match them up.
Yeah.
Oh!
But they're
You're gonna
They're
match
right
them.
across. Okay,
No,
gotcha.
they're not across from each other. Consuming passion, unexpressed emotion.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Because when you talk about
She said
being at the
consuming
top of the
passion,
stairs,
unexpressed emotion.
That's my fault.
you
Uh-huh.
know, that right there
No, this.
is just
and
that.
this is-
I think
far
also
away
when
now, so
we don't breathe fully, it's like we're afraid
No.
to express or to live or to be vibrant, And that
And-
person at the top of the stairs certainly wasn't expressing what they were feeling.
Right, right. And climbing up and down those stairs 20 times a day is a good way to get yourself breathing unless you're fighting it. And if you're fighting it, you're holding back. So the treating lung trouble is on page 228.
Yeah, that's fine.
And down under treating lung trouble, it's line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little over halfway across on the sentence, consuming passion, an unexpressed emotion, a strong desire. And that's Ernest's take on it, and probably Louise Hay's take on it too. Doesn't mean it's true, but it starts to give you a whole different way to look at things, and that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to go around and go, oh, Barbara, you have a respiratory thing going on. You must be confused. I'm not confused. I'm a little overwhelmed, not happy about coming home to the cold. I left 80-degree temperature, and I was good with that. So it's not confusion, but it is something. It is something. And I need to look at that and let it go, and my body will shift into being able to breathe and not sneeze and not cough and feel great. So and whatever is going on with you is more true than whatever anybody wrote in a book or whatever anybody else says as they try to psychoanalyze you. Right? Okay.
So then would that be? would
What?
The treatment would then be, is that perfect body being bronchial tubes and lungs?
Yes. Perfect expression, perfect man, perfect God, perfect man, perfect expression. Perfect body being bronchial tubes and lungs. Now, he says that after he says, don't treat the specific organ. So, you know, really, you could just know everyone as perfect, whole, and complete, that there's a spiritual truth to our physical form that is already completely healthy and whole. It can never be tarnished or diminished, and that makes itself manifest in physical form right now. That's enough of a treatment for anything, whether it's cancer or a heart attack or, you know, a stubbed toe. Ophia.
Just as someone who's had lung trouble like forever, you know, and this is really hitting home interestingly, personally I would feel, for me, I would treat for like ease of expression.
Yes. Right. That you express yourself easily, that you're in the flow of life. I like that idea that I breathe deeply the breath of life, that God breathes me. That's a little bit of a Native American thing, to become as the hollow bones so that spirit can play its song through you. There's a movement of energy through us, and you feel that in your lungs. It's just any way that makes you feel better, and it's going to make you feel better in your physical form. Holding on to these things, resisting life, it just clamps your body down and creates all kinds of problems. So what else? How about vision issues? That's an easy one.
Clarity.
Not seeing clearly,
Not looking out through the eye.
We're not wanting to see.
not wanting to see, not looking out, what, Sandy?
Through the eye.
Not looking out, you're looking at the physical reality instead of the divine truth. So you're looking with your physical form. Oh, well, this is here, so this must be the truth. This is all I've got in my checkbook. That's all that I can have in my checkbook. Instead of looking, as I say, with our God eyes and see that higher reality. Because if you hold back on seeing, your eyes are going to shut down. And so what would you treat for?
Perfect seeing.
What, Karen?
Perfect seeing.
Perfect seeing, clarity. What else?
The affirmative outlook of trust in the perfection of life.
Great, so you're trusting in life. Trust is always a good one because trust relaxes. Worry, criticism, anger, upset constricts. Constipation.
Not being good with the flow.
And
Not going with the flow, really.
Strain.
Things are blocked.
Things are blocked. We're holding on. We're holding back. And if you are physically constipated, where in your life might you be constipated?
Just about anywhere.
Your emotions.
Your emotions. Give me more than just about anywhere.
You're thinking.
Yeah, you're thinking.
Your
your
thinking.
Physical, emotional, the relationship.
Decision.
Your decisions.
Holding on to your ideas,
Yeah.
things that have to
You're
be
not
your way.
flexible.
What about clutter?
Your thoughts on.
Clutter. Constipated with clutter.
Yeah.
I would say fear of trusting yourself.
Fear of trust in yourself. Your thoughts aren't flowing. You can be constipated in your finances. You know, that's what happens when people won't let go. They won't turn loose of any of their money. They hoard money, and then they don't get money in, and so they hoard money tighter. How else can you be constipated?
Like if you're stingy.
If you're stingy. Yeah, so the same thing of clutter. You're holding on to stuff because you might need it one day. except it'll kill you. That energy will, because things get backed up in your physical body, in your relationships, in your finances, in your job. I mean, if you go into work and you've got all this work that's piled up and it's just backing up on you.
Like a hoarder.
Yeah, and some people are afraid to complete projects because they're not sure about whether or not there's gonna be more work, so they drag it out.
I would say,
Believe me, there's always more work.
I would say your heart too, you could hold your love back
You could,
for fear of whatever.
right? Hold your love back. I saw a movie last night called The Last Laugh with Richard Dreyfuss and Chevy Chase. It's on Netflix.
I watched that last night too.
And one of the things, one of the characters had a love partner die. And he said, you know, I was so afraid of having to lose them, of them dying and being hurt again, just like the wife, that I would never tell them that I loved them. And after they were gone, he said, would it have killed me to tell them that I loved them? Because I did. And I thought, that's not letting your energy go. And constipation happens in all kinds of ways. That's how you get a carton of milk with one swallow of rotten milk in the bottom in your fridge. Let it go.
So would that be restriction, emotional, stubborn, resistant? Or-
It's the top one, limitation, burden, fear of lack, trouble, disease, loss. It's all bad stuff.
The very top.
Well, it sounds
And
like
that's
that-
in,
Oh, up there, okay.
that's on page 231 in the book. They give them to you word for word in the book. So if you're going through this, you can find it, but I don't want you to fall into this idea that says, oh, Ernest Holmes said that this is so. It's not. It's some ideas, some energies, and you are the expert in your life. And if you talk to someone, you can ask them key questions. How are things blocked in your life? You know, where do you need more flow? Where do you need the energy to get moving in your life? And then you can start doing treatment work for that. So tumors, cancer, gallstones. Not even sure where this one goes.
Destructive emotions.
Conflict, discouragement, disappointment. And you know that's true. If someone lives their life in conflict and they stuff it in, if someone has a depression and they stuff that in, if they have disappointment and they stuff that in, doesn't that start working on the physical body?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, that one seems like the unexpressed longings.
Mm-hmm. Can be any of that.
Yeah, I think it's that, just that anger, that, or that overwhelming.
Well, I've
feeling.
seen a lot of people turn anger into cancer. I'm concerned at times of some of our members and their Facebook posts, because you can't put that level of anger out and not get it back. And you play with fire when you start going down those paths. So yes, anger will eventually create a corresponding physical response in your body and the body of your affairs. Have you noticed that some relationships disband over anger? Of course. Anger will chase people away. Anger will chase money away. Anger will chase business opportunities away. And then it starts to work on your finances, on your relationships, on your physical body, on your general attitude. Anger is a very, very dangerous energy. You know, and people say, well, I have a right to my anger. You do. You absolutely have a right to your anger, but it will kill you. So be mindful of it. If you want to blow for 60 seconds and then pull yourself back, okay. But if you want to wallow in it for days and weeks and months, you know, you're playing with fire. And I don't want to see any of you do that. I'll have to come smack you on the side of your head. James.
Yeah, that's, in my own family, I do hold on to stuff, and I keep thinking, well, why don't I just forgive, you know?
I've asked you that question for years.
I know it, but there doesn't seem to be, there's nothing, well,
Jane, you have forgiven a lot.
I thought so, but my goodness, I keep getting reminded, like I get pains from things that happened to me when I was a little child, and then here they are back here again.
So
you
it's
know.
time to forgive that. We're like an onion, and so we forgive a little bit here, and then we peel down a little deeper, and sure enough, there's something to forgive there. So we forgive there, and then we go down a little bit deeper, and then we forgive there. I don't know that we're ever done. So you're just gonna keep forgiving. Keep forgiving your father for beating the crap out of you and hurting you to where you're, how old are you?
Well, here I am, 86.
So you're 86 years old and you're still experiencing.
I mean, I am 80, but I get things in my
I know, so you still have to forgive him.
Oh, yeah.
Either that or you get to keep the pain, it's your choice. You either get to forgive or you get to keep the pain.
Well, yeah, that's really, well, I thought, the problem is I've forgiven him. I don't think about him.
70 times 7,
Yeah,
times 7,
Yeah.
times 7, times 7. That's just the number of perfect completion. So you do it till you're done.
So like, yeah, well, I hope so, because.
Helen,
I remember the class we had just before Christmas, and you were talking a lot about having another thought.
second thought, great.
And my girlfriend has this really irritating habit about always coming home late. And right after we'd had that class, what do you know, she's coming home late, I have dinner ready and all that. And I was beginning to get myself, because I get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, have another thought, and I struggled for like an hour and a half. I was wrestling with that demon, but then it worked. Then it just went, and I was fine. I was like, well, she can come home, but she cannot come home. With dinner, it's cold by the time she gets home.
That's not
what
your
it was.
problem. This is called a boundary.
And it was, but it dissipated the anger, but it took a lot of work to do it.
Yeah.
But
That's a lot of ego that you get to tell somebody else what to do. Sophia,
It's kind of relating to, I talked to John actually about this a week or so ago. A couple years ago, I've always believed in reincarnation, like it just always made sense to me. And this whole like, what past life was I? What was, I would get these like flashbacks of things that clearly didn't happen to me. And finally a couple years ago, I feel like I kind of came full circle and realized that because time isn't linear, I have been or will be, am every single other being in existence. And that when I fall asleep, I wake up as someone else, for a little while or something like that. And that actually really, and it's still something I have to remind myself when I start feeling frustrated with someone, that I realize that was me, that is me, that will be me. And some of the hardest stuff was thinking about some of my, for lack of a better word, like attackers, or not that I want to stick to that, but like realizing that I've been them too, or will be, so it's everyone has a story. It all depends on the perspective, but it's all one story.
right, and we're all what?
One.
There's a Mayan phrase, in Lakish and Lakim, you are another myself. Mm-hmm. Sure, we're all the same. Oneness does not mean sameness. So we're not identical like that, but we're all one. Okay, we've only got a few minutes. What on this list do you want to talk about? Cold and influenza, yes. Track up my little pen mark. Confusion, mental conflict or confusion. Remember I said I don't think I'm confused, I think I'm a little overwhelmed and a little pissy about the weather, but I don't feel confused. So just to say that
You're conflicted, you really want to be back at the beach.
I just want to have the Miami weather here, that's all.
See?
I don't want to leave, I don't want to take you guys with me.
Yeah.
I want to be able to stay here and have warm, wet, sunshine weather.
Oh.
Well, it's like the
I'm with you.
Thank you for not bringing it.
Really, with an ocean very close. So, who asked for that one? Tiana. Does that resonate?
I'm trying to think. I don't. Well, what would the treatment be? Because maybe I can relate more to that.
So I wouldn't do the confusion part of it. I would know that I'm in the flow of life, that I am safe in life.
Okay.
Safety to me means that I can rest and breathe deeply. When I used to have allergies, I would treat that I am safe breathing the air. Because I would feel like there are all these things in the air that are coming in me and attacking me. So I would treat that I was safe. I was safe in my skin, safe in my world, and safe to breathe the air.
So that makes more sense.
Well, yeah, and you gotta check out yourself. That's why I'm doing this as a group before you go down and buckle down and write all the correct answers and burn them into your head. That no, there really are no correct answers here. It's all about how does it feel to you, and how do you want to shift that energy for yourself and your treatment partner. Jane.
I've been finding out that it's a lot more fun to think of sort of with my childhood, the happy things that have happened, and
Yay.
They never occurred to me before.
Right, because you were too busy thinking about the unhappy things and being angry.
I guess, yeah, so
Or
I was so
defenseless
busy
cat.
getting angry, but then really I have, it is kind of fun to think of, because like my father was not a good father, but he had a wonderful sense of humor.
Great.
And we owned a house in the mountains, and we used to fight all the time. And everybody had beautiful names for their houses, like Sunset Hill and Three Pines and this and that. And so my father said, well, we'll call our house Snarling Hollow.
So you got your sense of humor from your father. Our lives really are what we focus on. And everybody can find injustice. Finding injustice is not a big deal. You haven't done anything. Finding injustice in your own life and in the world. You find joy, find love, find peace. That's where the work is. And then that's what you get. What else? One more.
Blood trouble is
Blood
different.
trouble, that includes blood pressure. So it says worry, anxiety, fear, and criticism. And you know people who worry, what are they doing? They're tensing up, they're constricting, they're gonna be both constipated and have high blood pressure.
They're making their blood boil.
They're making their blood boil. People who criticize are always looking for something wrong, always needing to be right and make other people wrong. They're raising their blood pressure. Don't do that. Nobody's wrong, and you're not as right as you think you are. Anything else? So, what is your name, Patrick?
I'm Jim.
Jeremy. What we do for the second half of the class is we do a form of affirmative prayer. And I've got a sheet, although I've looked at it through 3 computers and haven't found it. Does anybody have one of the cheat sheets that Jeremy can use?
I've still got mine. You borrowed it last week.
Can Jeremy use it?
Yeah.
Great. And because we have an odd number, we're gonna put you in a threesome. Who wants to take Jeremy?
I don't have mine.
Diane's got her hand up.
Oh,
Debbie.
three of us.
Debbie.
Debbie and Ophia. Will you team up with Debbie and Ophia? Okay, we're gonna take a break, find your treatment partner, find a new treatment partner, and do treatment work for each other.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Back. Okay, we had two new people tonight. Karen, were you doing treatment when you used to? Hello. Karen, were you doing treatment work when you used to take classes?
Yes.
Okay. And Jeremy, how was it for you?
Oh. Are you gonna say it?
No, yeah, I was
gonna say.
How was it?
Oh, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept.
It is. It's an interesting concept that what you think you get. And so if you're gonna get what you think, it might behoove us all to be careful about what we think and to think about what we want on a repetitive and ongoing basis, which is where the spiritual mind treatment work comes in. So, anybody else, how was it for you? Do you have any questions, any comments?
I just wanted to say that when I was at the other center that I was at in Texas, they used the 7-step treatment, which was different from this, and it was very hard for me to switch from the 5 to the 7. So I'm glad to be back to the 5, I will say. It's easier.
7 steps is a lot of
I know,
steps, and that's
5
got a denial in it,
I know,
which
I
is,
don't
I'm
like
not
it.
sick, I'm not sick, I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
sick,
I
I'm
didn't
not
like
sick.
it. I never liked it. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be back with 5, I will say that.
Pardon me?
I'm glad to be back with 5, I will say that.
Right, and we did teach a 3-step treatment.
Yes.
God is, I am, and so it
Yeah,
is.
I know that one too.
Who else?
That's a good one.
Yeah, the joy after I treated was lovely.
Yeah, I love the laughter.
It's like,
I love when the
wow.
groups start to laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Be aware, Jeremy, of when you get the stuff that you were treated for, okay? Helen?
It's funny because I worked with Amanda last week too, and today we worked on completely different issues, but when we got down to it, it was exactly the
Yeah,
same thing.
it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing interesting really.
I thought it was fun that Susan and I had the same thing, but it was in 2 different ways.
Good.
Yeah.
There's no accidents.
No,
Wonderful. Who else? I want to remind you that we have a class for our members, Ownership and Spiritual Community, this Saturday. It's really a great class. It uses spiral dynamics and structural flow, talks about why we do what we do and what we're trying to accomplish here. And it's really a good explanation of how the center operates, not in terms of you do this and you do that, but that this is why we do what we do and this is what we're trying to accomplish by doing what we're doing. But it is only open to members, so is anybody coming to that? Are we showing up to an empty room Saturday? 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's on the board.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. 10 to 1, yeah. Okay. Well, part of what we're doing is to bring Sally up to speed with the structural aspect of the center. So, good. The annual membership meeting is Sunday, and that's when you get to vote on 2 new board members, vote in our approval of finances from last year, eat chili and Sherry Freeze vegan coconut milk, butternut Indian soup stuff. It's delicious. And then there's the good beef chili. So all kinds of soups and chilies and stuff like that, which we'll have after the meeting. And I'm just not believing that it's gonna snow, but then I don't wanna go there because I could have just made it snow. So we know it's just gonna be a wonderful day. Wonderful, wonderful day. Beautiful sunny day.
And that's what day?
Sunday, this coming Sunday.
Sunday.
In fact, if we're
Oh, after
going
the
to
service.
Yeah.
No snow.
What, Karen?
I said, if we're gonna go there, let's just make it 60 degrees.
It's supposed to be 55.
Great, great. I like your weather app, Sandy.
Friday is.
So it's after the service, right?
Yes, after the celebration.
Who's running?
Bob, Michelle, and Amika Venturi. Who said,
She did.
who's she?
Who, yeah.
Oh, okay. Any other questions or comments? We're gonna close up a little bit early tonight. Take out what you're gonna give. And those of you watching online in Bulgaria, in China, in India, in South Korea, and in France, the key countries over the last 3 months. Thank you for your financial support. You can click on the little P in the upper right corner of the YouTube page, and it'll take you right to our PayPal account. Whatever you give, we're very grateful for that, and it is our intention to make these teachings available to everyone on the planet without a charge on them. So thank you for watching and being a part of this. And what I know is that God is all that there is. This infinite prosperity, abundant, expanding energy, this light and this love, this blessing and blessing and blessing. And I know that it being all in all, as all, is what we are now. We are made of God's stuff. We are spiritual beings, alive and well on planet Earth. We are created out of the infinite. And so we have no bounds. And so I know for each and every one of us that we always have more than enough. Whether it's more than enough money, more than enough time, more than enough energy, more than enough opportunity. We always have more than enough because we are made out of more than enough. And so right here and right now, as we give this gift to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, we give it out of our fullness, we give it out of our overflowing love and joy. And I know that it comes into the center and touches the hearts and lives of everyone who calls this center home. So right here and right now, we give our gift, knowing that each one of us comes together to make this center a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is.
So it is.
And I know everything in these baskets is blessed, because every time we give, that which we are goes with our gift. Whether it's a hand, whether it's large sums of money, whether it's an opportunity or a smile, God as us moves through our lives every time we give anything. And so I see it in my mind's eye, as golden light pouring forth from each one of us, filling up this room from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us. And I know that as Spirit moves in our lives, each and every one of us is touched. We are blessed and we are healed. That energy goes out to surround this world, to touch and to bless and to heal every being on this planet. Always here and always now, touching every one of us here tonight, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone yet to come. And so it is. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week.
Okay.